What's up, guys? Welcome back. So this is a weekly review for the week starting September 18, 2023 through September 22nd. This review is coming a bit late. I've been really busy. We just opened on Sunday, and that's why we're having this candle here. So this is 6:22 p.m. New York local time on Sunday. Nigerian time is around 11:22 p.m. So yeah, we're not out of the schedule just yet. So quick review for dollar index. This week I am expecting us to be bullish for the dollar index. Remember last week I mentioned this buy side. We already passed this the previous week, and then I said that I was looking to further upside for this buy side last week. So of course we have expanded to the upside, but we're yet to take up this buy side liquidity. So yes, this week we're entering, I'm still bullish for the weekly time frame on dollar. Quickly on our daily time frame. On our daily time frame for the dollar index, I am bullish just as well. So for the daily time frame, remember we had this volume imbalance. Volume imbalance, for those of you who are new to this channel, it's when we have two candles. We have this candle opened, closed below here, and then the next candle that opened, there was a gap between this candle and this candle. The bodies, look at the bodies of this candle, and look at the bodies of this candle. There is a gap. Of course we have the wicks overlapping, but the gap in the body indicates that there is a volume imbalance. So later in the future we'll definitely have C price coming to respect it, and then we've closed above this volume imbalance, this daily volume imbalance. So we've closed above it, like we're saying here. So now it should be acting as real resistance, and then we might see price open, trade down. Let me quickly zoom in. We might see price open this week here, trade down to this little fair value gap. We have candles 1, candles 2, candles 3. Look at these wicks, they are not overlapping. A fair value gap is when we have 3 candles, candles 1, candles 2, candles 3, and then the candles 3 low and the candles 1 high, they do not overlap. We have a little gap. Let me quickly draw that out in time so that you see clearly what I mean. Here there is a little gap here, yeah. So this little gap is called fair value gap. So we might see price trade come into this fair value gap, at the same time this order block, and then expand to the upside this week. So we're expecting to take out buy side for the daily time frame on our dollar index. Now let's move on to the next pair, which is euro dollar. Weekly time frame, euro dollar. So for our weekly time frame, remember we've been bearish for some time now, and I said once we trade, the last time I said once we trade below this inversion fair value gap. An inversion fair value gap is a fair value gap that was previously support but now turned resistance, or resistance turned support. We have a fair value gap here, candles 1, candles 2, candles 3. Naturally we are supposed to respect this fair value gap, but because overall we are really bearish and strong, once we trade below it, we should see this fair value gap acting as resistance, which means once we close below it, like here in this candle, the next candle we should see it open, trade, and see this as resistance. So we closed here, we opened on this candle, traded above, and this fair value gap, which is now inversion fair value gap, is now acting as resistance. So we saw prices coming down. So last week I said I want to see us take out this buy side liquidity, and if I go into the daily time frame, you see that we've purged it just a little bit on the daily time frame. So we actually took out sell side, but this week I am expecting price to go properly below the sell side and most likely target this one, daily time frame. So here's our daily time frame, and here's the weekly previous low sell side I mentioned. And on our daily time frame, we see how we just slightly pushed it a little last week. So this coming week, I'm expecting to see price gravitate, take out this sell side properly, and then expand to the downside. We might not take out this sell side this week, I don't know, but this is our ultimate goal for now, for the coming few weeks. For the pound dollar weekly time frame, so after hitting this weekly bearish order block, I can go to my previous weekly analysis. We talked about this. We started expanding to the downside, and then I mentioned this weekly bullish order block as our first target, and then ultimately sell side. Yeah, last week I said we should expect lower prices, and this is last week's candle. We did not attain our sell side, but yes, we had downward expansion. So this week I'm expecting price to open, run up a little, and then take out this sell side here on our weekly time frame for the pound dollar daily time frame. So for our daily time frame for pound dollar, here is the sell side we identified on our weekly time frame. So I'm expecting price to gravitate towards downside on this particular week. I want us to take out this sell side this particular week, or the next coming few weeks. And finally, I want to talk about the Canadian dollar weekly time frame. The Canadian dollar, previously I said I wanted us to see us take out this buy side, yes, and ultimately target this, maybe this other block first. But now we're expanding to the downside, and most likely this week we might take out this low, trade down to this fair value gap and respect it, and then expand to the upside, or we might just go up to the upside and take out this buy side this coming week for the Canadian dollar. Then daily time frame for the card, this was the inversion fair value gap that we mentioned weeks ago, that we want to see this act as real support before taking out buy side. We've taken out this buy side, and then here is our fair value gap for the weekly time frame. We might come down or react from here and go to the upside. So now that we've talked about the weekly analysis, the question is, what should you do with this information? Like I said, going back to the dollar index, we've already seen that, okay, we are expecting higher prices this coming week. So which means every other currencies that paired with the US dollar as the base currency, we see lower prices. For example, euro dollar we see lower prices, pound dollar we see lower prices. This simply means that when you are trading this week, let's say you're trading euro dollar, for example, I'll go back to this example, euro dollar for example, we are expecting lower prices this week. Because we're expecting lower prices, more expansion to the downside, you should be looking for more sell positions every day. Does this mean that we won't have buy positions, we won't have buy opportunities? Yes, we will. But the big expansions will come to the downside, which means if you are looking to catch big moves, you should be looking for sell positions. And then another way you can apply this is when we have news drivers. Most of the time, news drivers will come in form of my weekly analysis. So for example, if the weekly analysis is for the sell side, most of the news will respect sell side. They would drive to sell side, except a few ones. And always remember, we want to trade some news that we can, but you want to avoid news like the CPI, the FOMC or the non-farm payroll, except you have so much experience in the market and know how to trade this. For example, this week we have FOMC on Wednesday. You want to be really careful of that. I hope you really find this insightful, and until I talk to you next time, I wish you good luck and be safe.